City Clerk, would you call the roll?
Alderman Rainey. Here. Alderman Miller. Alderman Fisk. Here. Alderman Braithwaite. Here. Alderman Nguyen. Here. Alderman Wilson. Here. Alderman Holmes. Here. Alderman Tindall.
Here.
7-1.
We have a quorum. Welcome to the Monday, January 11th meeting of the Evanston City Council. First item on the agenda is the mayor's public announcements and proclamations. Andre Wallace, congratulations, and would you please come forward with Stephanie Murray, the chair of the Human Relations Commission, and Leslie Palmer and Joan Yohanan. We have a scholarship to announce. This Andre is an Evanston Township High School graduate, and once an ETHS kid, always an ETHS kid. But you're also at the University of Pennsylvania. Congratulations. All right, Stephanie, would you like to explain why you picked this fine young man?
Yes, the Human Relations Commission, we did our first annual diversity essay contest. And in the essay, you had to describe how diversity affected you and how you want to improve diversity efforts in your community. And Andre wrote an excellent essay. And
Are we going to get a copy of this?
yes, you have, Oscar can make sure you get a copy.
Thank you.
It's an excellent essay. And we're very pleased to offer him this award today.
All right, congratulations. And Joan, would you like to say a few words on behalf of the bank?
Yeah, I'd just like to congratulate Andre and tell him how proud we are of him. And First Bank and Trust is delighted to be able to give this $1,000 scholarship to him for his college.
And we are delighted that First Bank and Trust is doing that. Okay, I'm going to come up for photo ops, and I believe you have two parents here.
And a sister.
And a sister.
A sister.
And a sister.
Excuse- All right, let's get them up, too. One, two, three, five. Okay, there you go.
Just quickly, because I know you guys have a lot going on tonight, just want to say thank you to First Bank, to you, Oscar, for coordinating with me and making sure this happened, to the City Council, to my family for supporting me. It means a lot to get this award in light of, everything that's going on in regards to race relations and equity, and I'm just very honored that as an Evanston grad, I was able to do the work that I did and was recognized for it, and I'm super proud of the way that Evanston continues to work towards equality in our community, so thank you.
Where have you been for public comments all our life?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is the Mayor's Compact Next Steps on Climate Action. Ms. Hurley, would you like to walk us through that?
Sure. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of City Council. City Clerk Catherine Hurley, Sustainability Manager. I'm here tonight to just give a brief overview of Evanston's exciting next steps in our efforts towards climate action. Let's see. Okay. So Evanston's been on a very successful and highly acclaimed climate action journey. This is a little bit of a view over the last over 10 years, as you can see, since Evanston, with Mayor Tisdall's support, first put down the commitment with the U.S. Conference of Mayors for the Climate Protection Agreement. That was back in 2008, and with the support of City Council, adopted the city's first climate action plan in 2008. The city achieved that first climate action plan in 2013, and then we quickly developed our second climate action plan. There's many communities that are also going to be participating in the Compact of Mayors that probably will be doing this for the first time. So Evanston has the track record of having already gone through this several times. 2014 and 15 were stellar years for recognition for the community's great efforts, and thanks to your support and all of our wonderful community partners and volunteers, the efforts that Evanston has set forth so far have been very outstanding. So the Compact of Mayors is a new international commitment. There's currently 445 cities around the world that have signed on to this new commitment. It was launched in 2014 as part of the United Nations Climate Summit and was one of the big efforts leading up to the international negotiations in Paris this last December that was helping to show how cities were involved in this commitment, not just at the national level. So there are over 390 million people represented in communities internationally that are participating in this compact, and it's pretty standard in terms of we make a commitment, we create an inventory, we develop a plan, and then we work on implementing the plan. So Evanston, having already gone through this several times, we're going to be taking those lessons learned of how we participated and worked with our community partners and made realistic goals, and then set forth on actions and followed through with our commitment. The main difference in this one that's worth noting is that the compact does require looking at not only climate mitigation actions, so working to reduce our impact on the environment, but also working to acknowledge that we are seeing changes to our climate and working with the community to identify how we can address those vulnerabilities and be more prepared in the future, which is something that we're already doing, but it's going to be folded into this effort for the first time at the same time. So in terms of a timeline, this winter, spring, to work with our community partners to address how our current plan is going, which is set to end this year, which is going very well, and develop our inventory. Summer and fall, do community outreach, additionally set our target and work to develop a draft plan, and then be aiming to come back to you all by the end of the year with a draft plan for participating in this compact. As I said before, Evanston is very fortunate to have already participated several times in similar efforts, and so with your leadership and support and all of our wonderful community partners, I'm confident that we'll again be able to come up with an innovative and enriching program and then move forward with sort of some new actions in the beginning of 2017. That's pretty much it. Just want to let everyone know, I know this is one of those things that generates the emails saying, are you participating in this thing? So we are participating. Evanston should be listed on the Compact of Mayors website. And we did, Mayor Tisdall did sign well before the delegation went to Paris, so we were included in the list that went to the international negotiations. So I'll take any questions if there are any.
Alderman Rainey.
Catherine, when did you come to the city of Evanston?
I think December of 2010. So we had already adopted the first climate action plan, and so I took the baton, helped implement that plan, and then have been working.
That's my point. I mean, Catherine has really led the band on this one.
Thank you, Alderman Rainey.
Very impressive work. Really appreciate it. Along with the mayor, of course.
You are correct that Catherine has led the charge. Thank you very
Thank
much. That concludes my report. City Manager, do you have announcements?
Yes, Madam Mayor, several. First, I'd like to ask Police Chief Richard Eddington to step forward. We have two promotions. Chief Eddington, I'll let you do the introductions, and then we'll have the City Clerk administer the oath.
Actually, sir, they've been sworn in, and tonight is just an introduction. One of the things I had to call to the council's attention this evening as things go on, even when we don't meet. This event happened, or was the catalyst for this event was on December 23rd. Commander Hartsglass retired after 23 years of service. Commander Hartsglass is now the Director of Public Safety at Malcolm X Junior College, which has undergone a massive expansion in conjunction with Presbyterian Rush Hospital to expand their nursing program. So it's a sophisticated nursing program with a lot of high-tech equipment that she's now responsible for. And she did mention to me it was really good that she gets to work days. So I'd like to call forward three individuals and introduce them. First is Commander Steve Goldenberg. He's been a patrol officer since 1988. He has a sociology degree from Northeastern University, and he's worked in uniform patrol, evidence tech, firearms instructor, field training officer, and juvenile officer. He's worked in the Juvenile Bureau as a detective and later as a supervisor. He was promoted to sergeant in 2003. He's currently assigned to day shift patrol as the commander. Commander Goldenberg is married to his wife, Mary, and they have 3 daughters. I would also like to call forward Sergeant Charlotte Hart. She's a graduate of the University of Illinois at Chicago, obtained her bachelor's degree with a double major in finance and management. Sergeant Hart was sworn in 2004 with the Evanston Police Department. She's worked diligently as a patrol officer, field training officer, and detective, and now patrol supervisor. Sergeant Hart has served as a Citizen Police Academy instructor and is a member of the Evanston Mentoring Program. The sergeant is married and is the mother of 2. I'd also like to call forward Sergeant Jody Wright. You have met Sergeant Wright, and he was recently assigned to the Office of Professional Standards, so he'll be visiting with you during human services meetings in the future. He's a 14-year veteran of the department. As an officer, he's worked in patrol, as a detective in the NET unit, a detective in adult investigation before being promoted to sergeant in 2011. As a sergeant, he supervised both juvenile and adult investigations, and in May of last year, he completed the 10-week staff and command school offered at Northwestern University. Sergeant Wright was transferred to OPS in November. In addition to his current duties in OPS, Sergeant Wright also is the facilitator of the department's TASER program and fitness program. These are key members of the police department, and we wanted to take this opportunity to introduce them to you in their new roles.
Hello again. How are you? Congratulations. How are you? Congratulations. You're throwing me around.
Congratulations. Thanks, sir.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, members of the dais.
A couple of other staffing changes I'd like to mention. First, at the end of the month, Christina Ferraro, our Assistant Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, left the city to become the Executive Director of the Prospect Heights Park District. Christina had been with us for about 15 years, was really responsible for helping move the Levy Center to its current location and the fine programs that we had there. It's an outstanding professional opportunity for Christina to be the director of her own park district, so we're very excited about that and wish her all the best. And also, since the council last met, we have hired a new Parks and Recreation Director. His name is Lawrence Hemingway. He is currently the director of the Wayne County, Michigan Parks Department, and his first day here will be on Monday, February the 8th. So we're excited. Mr. Hemingway and his family will be here this weekend, so they're going to be at the Fleetwood Jourdain Center for the Martin Luther King festivities. So that will, if you're there, you'll have a chance to meet him. He's an outstanding individual, and we're very much looking forward to him joining the city. Next, Alderman Holmes had asked that we have an update from the Evanston Own It group, and they were supposed to be here before the holidays, and we weren't able to make that presentation. Do you wish to make initial comments, or just ask Pastor Ephraim to?
Just Pastor Ephraim will do it. And now,
Well, good evening and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I am the reason that we were not here last month. I was hit with, what do you call it? Food poisoning. And no, it was not in Evanston. So good news.
Thank
you. Greetings. We are with Evanston Own It. In response to a rash of shootings in 2013 and 2014, we were challenged in the Fifth Ward as the clergy to come together and determine how we might be of assistance in quelling the violence that was raging through the city. After many meetings and many frustrations, Alderman Dolores Holmes convened the clergy in initially the Fifth Ward, where we begin to meet and to talk about how we might participate, how we might be a part of a solution. Ultimately, the Second Ward joined with us, with Alderman Peter Braithwaite. Back in November, I believe it was, September, then Mayor gave us a, all right, somebody help me, gave us a,
Proclamation, November.
thank you. Forgive me. A proclamation, and it was called Evanston Own It Proclamation. And in that proclamation, it was our commitment that we would work as the clergy in the community to bring together members of this community to help develop an Evanston Own It spirit. And that spirit was one where we recognized that what happened to one in our community happened to all of us. We had prior to that attempted to bring various family members together and have conversation, recognizing that that was not the answer. We knew that simply by being in the same shared spaces together, whether it be for music, for worship, for information with our children, that we had some opportunity to have our hands on members of the community and help us to understand what it meant to be community. And so to that end, we had our first event last November where we sponsored a voters drive, and the churches got together and provided transportation from the churches here to City Hall. We were able to register a record amount of early voters. We had the highest voter turnout that year, and we do take some credit for assisting in that effort. Moving beyond that, we had an Evanston Sings concert, and the goal of that was we were very concerned about the youth. They were the ones involved. We wanted to help raise money for the youth and the Mayor's Summer Youth Program. We did that. We are so pleased that we were able to come here and stand before you and hand over $13,500 of proceeds. But even more important than that was the fact that these churches came together, worked collectively. We had 22 churches represented in our choir. We worked long and hard. In a very short time, we're able to pull that effort together. Following that event, we had a series of other events. We have had Dr. Jeffrey Brown, who is part of a 10-point coalition in Boston, an expert on violence in cities. And he came and met with us and spoke with us about the work that he was doing, a great benefit, again, to us. We recently had a hanging of the green service, once again, a smaller version of the Evanston Sings concert, trying to keep the momentum going because that was such a tremendous success for us. We also printed T-shirts, as Evanston Own It on it. And as we went out to the homes of the victims after the shootings, and as we walked the blocks, we wore our Evanston Own It T-shirts. They became quite a popular item, and we were able to sell those to continue to help raise money. Over the course of the last year, we have touched the lives of many of the victims. We have opened our churches for their funerals, often at no charge. We have assisted them. We have ministered to them. We have touched them. We have walked with them. And we believe that our efforts have definitely made a difference in the Evanston community. Going forward into 2016, on January 18th, the work of Evanston Own It is being honored and recognized by YOU on MLK Day. And so we are very pleased about that work. And what Seth Green said to us was, normally this is an award that goes to individuals, but we believe that Evanston Own It is one organization. If I can't say anything else to you, it is that that's exactly what our goal was to become one community organization working hand in hand to resolve some of the issues in the community. We were clear from the beginning that we are not police officers, that we are simply clergy. We are men and women of the faith who believe that prayer works, who have collectively come together to pray and have built strong relationships among each other. We are now seeing the benefits of that, and we are so grateful. We want to give thanks to Mayor Tisdall for her support and recognition. Wally Bobkowitz has been an incredible support to us, has been to many of our events, and it means a lot because one of the things that was frustrating for the Fifth Ward was oftentimes the help that was offered to us was for us to come out of our community. We wanted people to come into our community and to recognize the beauty of the Fifth Ward. I can't say enough about Chief Eddington and his staff. His police officers are absolutely tremendous assets and have blessed us, and we are pleased to be able to work with them. And so we thank you. We're proud to stand here and make this report. Just this morning, we had a 4-hour retreat to plan for the upcoming year. And so we want you to get ready to buy your tickets. We will be having our next concert, shameless plug, on January 17th at the high school. June 17th, thank you, at the high school. But we have much coming up. We ask you to continue to watch what we are doing so that you might participate. There's nothing better than being in community with people that you may or may not know, but have a sense of belonging, and we appreciate that. Thank you. Any questions? No, I didn't. He said you forgot to mention Alderman Holmes. That's a whole separate subject. I know that you all recognize what a gem you have in the city. From the time that I arrived here 5 years ago, Alderman Holmes has been a mentor, a friend. She has been there to help lead and guide. It was her vision that we as clergy ought to come together and work. It was her idea that as clergy persons that we could be a voice for our community. After all, we are the ones that are touching most of these members in the Fifth Ward. And so she was not afraid to call and convene us together, even when she does not need to be. She is always in attendance, always supportive, and somehow she thinks she's the secretary. So she gets every little thing done for us, not afraid of hard work, and just a real gift. We would not be standing here had it not been for her leadership and her love, her incredibly deep and moving love for this community. We are praying that she will never retire because she is truly a woman of integrity, of grace, of giftedness, and we thank you. And to Alderman Braithwaite, who also stands with us, thank you. You all are just a tremendous team. I love Evanston, and I'm glad that we could be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, in case anybody is interested, Alabama is winning by 7.
Before Ken leaves, we want to have, Ken, if you could give us an update on the Martin Luther King events coming up this weekend.
Yes, sir. To our Honorable Mayor, our illustrious City Manager, esteemed Alderman, we are grateful to be here tonight. Saturday, we at Fleetwood Jourdain have our Martin Luther King celebration, Saturday at noon. We have a wonderful event planned with the Evanston Dance Ensemble, the Evanston choirs from within Evanston, as well as speeches by our mayor and our former mayor, and wonderful information regarding the legacy of Dr. King, as well as a gathering after the public affair. There's going to be a question and answer session to deal with how we dealt with the issues then, how we should deal with some issues now. All that's going to take place on Saturday beginning at noon, should go until about 2:30. Then there's a break period because at 4 o'clock we also have the screening of Spike Lee's latest movie, Chirac, that's going to be at Fleetwood Jourdain with a discussion by, my notes are in the back, but with a discussion by one of the Northwestern professors who translated the original Greek play that movie is based on, and she's going to come, and I was honored to be at an initial screening with her where we got to sit and watch the movie and talk about it, and so it's going to be a very enlightening conversation. So I would that those of you that can make it can come out and join us on Saturday at Fleetwood Jourdain.
Thank you. And finally, Mr. Lyons, the Assistant City Manager, Chief Financial Officer, is here to talk a little bit about property tax assessments and some upcoming deadlines.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, Madam Mayor, members of council, Deputy Clerk. The deadline for application for tax reductions is February 3rd. This does impact a variety of reductions. I'm going to go through them fairly quickly. And first, I'll make sure we have Mitzi Gibbs, our assessment reviewer's phone number, said a few times during this, but during this announcement, 847-448-8168. So any Evanston resident that wishes to call Ms. Gibbs can get this information. She can walk through each section. The two senior exemptions that we're referring to are the senior exemption, $400 to $500, and then you have the senior freeze, which also, these are exemptions that need to be applied for each year. So we're telling residents, please make sure if you have any questions to call Mitzi Gibbs, again at 847-448-8168. We also have, she will also have information for anybody who's a first-time applicant. If you've just moved into the city, please contact her. She can walk through all of the Byzantine regulations for the County of Cook. And then finally, she would also go through homeowners exemptions. So we have a press release that we just put out today. We will have it up on our website. And again, any questions can be forwarded to Ms. Gibbs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lyons, and that concludes my reports, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. City Clerk, do you have communications for us? And I'd like to communicate with Clerk Green and wish him a Happy New Year.
Clerk Green sends all of his thanks and appreciation for all of your warm wishes and for his speedy recovery, and he looks forward to being back real soon.
Thank you. Is that it for your communication? Thank you. Next item on the agenda is public comment. We have one speaker and one speaker only, Linda Damashek.
Well, Happy New Year to one and all. As individuals and organizations committed to improving the quality of life for all of Evanston citizens, best wishes for a collaborative and productive new year for us all. The Evanston Parks and Lakefront Alliance looks forward to working with you to create a community-focused activities and public education center in the Harley Clark Mansion at Lighthouse Landing Park this year. We look forward to a positive and productive process to create a community asset that will be enjoyed and valued by all Evanston citizens. Here's to a good new year.
Thank you very much. Alderman Rainey, could we have the consent agenda, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Ask for your approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting of December 14. Administration Public Works Committee met this evening and asked for your approval of the payroll through December 13, $2,500,000 and second, I can no longer see. $2,567,567.59 through December 27, $2,581,911.47. The bills through January 12, $18,636,798.98. Through that was through the 15th, I believe. January 12 through 16 is 37,000. I'm not sure. There's a mistake here, I believe. One is for the through the 15th, 2015, and the other one is through the 16th, right? Anyway, $37,835.60. Credit card activity through November 30th of 2015. $163,994.58. Approval is requested for a contract for 2016 debris hauling with G&L Contractors in the amount of $136,000. Approval is requested for a contract with Kenny Construction Company for sewer structure lining in the amount of $91,683. Approval is also requested for purchases: 2 recycle packer trucks from RNOW Incorporated, one for 2016 in the amount of $248,131, and one for 2017 in the amount of $254,836. Approval of 2016 Duncan Solution and Passport Parking to cover the fees associated with parking meter and pay-by-cell operations in the amount of $196,000. We request your approval of engineering services agreement with CDM Smith for a treated water storage replacement project in the not-to-exceed amount of $1,174,685. Approval is also requested for renewal of the Illinois Crime Lab membership dues in the amount of $101,322 for 2016. Approval of the Church Street Boat Ramp improvements, change order number 1, in the amount of, which modifies the completion date by 168 days from November 13, 2015 to April 29, 2016, and no change to the contract price. Approval is requested for another change order number 1 for the Sheridan Road water main lining project with Boulder Contractors, the amount of a credit $108,624, changing the contract amount from $3,767,440 to $3,658,816. There's no change in the contract completion date of June 10, 2016. Approval is also requested for the Emerson Street Bridge Avenue Green Bay Road project, Phase 3 engineering services contract with ESI Consultants Limited in the not-to-exceed amount of $723,803.89. Adoption of Resolution 4R16 is requested, which authorizes the manager to negotiate and execute with the Illinois Department of Transportation local public agency agreement for federal participation required for the Emerson Ridge Green Bay Road project. The city has received funding of $1,913,943 from the North Shore Council of Mayors and CMAQ grant of $1,920,000 for this project. The project cost estimate is $8,236,316. This resolution will obligate Evanston to pay the Illinois Department of Transportation the local share costs of $4,402,373 at the completion of the project. Resolution 3R16 is recommended for adoption, authorizing the manager to execute a supplemental agreement for LED light installation under the Emerson Street Viaduct at Green Bay Road with Union Pacific Railroad. We ask your approval also of Resolution 1R16, which appoints Fire Chief, Deputy Fire Chief, and Director of Public Works Agency as the city's delegate and alternate delegates, respectively, to the NIPSTA Board of Directors. Ordinance 1016 increases the number of Class D liquor licenses for the Boiling Point, doing business as Peppercorn's Kitchen, 620 Davis, increasing licenses to 50. Ordinance 2016 increases the number of Class D liquor licenses for BU properties at 1625 Chicago Avenue, increasing licenses from 50 to 51. Ordinance 162-015 is a 30-day grace period for Evanston wheel tax. This is for introduction, and the chair of the committee will explain additional information about this matter. But this is for introduction tonight. Ordinance 115-015 authorizes sale of used copiers owned by the city of Evanston. This is for action. 24 surplus copiers to Arcoa Group Midwest Copy Exchange for $1,975. Ordinance 159-015 has to do with selling surplus property through public auction. These are vehicles no longer necessary for the City of Evanston. Planning and Development Committee met this evening and recommend your approval of naming the Ecology Center classroom the Elizabeth A. Patterson Classroom. Ordinance 7016 grants major zoning relief for a second-story addition and open parking at 2115 Dewey. Madam Mayor and Council, I'm going to move introduction, suspension of the rules, and approval of this ordinance. The committee agreed to that. Ordinance 6016 grants major zoning relief to convert 44 rooming house units to dwelling units with no additional parking at 860 Hinman. Staff recommends an additional condition, and this is for introduction, an additional condition that would allow the building's trash dumpsters to occupy 2 on-site parking spaces until August 2017. Ordinance 154015 has to do with a text amendment and is off the council agenda, is off the consent agenda, and will be addressed by the committee chair. Human Services Committee met earlier in the month and recommend City Council adoption of Resolution 119R15, authorizing the manager to enter into 2 12-month lease agreements for studio spaces at the Noyes Cultural Arts Center with James Evansizer and Genevieve Costello. The committee recommends the council adoption of Resolution 120R15, authorizing the manager to enter into 22 renewal agreements for 12-month lease terms for the artist leases at the studios at Noyes Cultural Arts Center. Human Services Committee also recommends City Council adoption of Resolution 121R15, which authorizes the manager to enter into agreements with the Evanston Children's Choir to lease space at the Noyes Cultural Arts Center for a 5-month lease term, January 2016 to May 31, and September 1 to December 31, 2016. Madam Mayor has recommended the appointment to the Commission on Aging of Alan Factor and the Zoning Board of Appeals, Lisa Zieken, I believe. And with that, Madam Mayor, I move approval.
Thank you. Seeing no lights on for further discussion, City Clerk, would you call the roll?
Alderman Rainey?
Aye.
Alderman Fisk? Alderman Breathwaite?
Aye.
Alderman Nguyen?
Aye.
Alderman Wilson?
Aye.
Alderman Holmes?
Aye.
Alderman Tindem?
Aye.
7-0.
7-0, the motion passes. Alderman Tindem, do we have anything in planning and development?
As one in administration public.
Oh, sorry, my mistake. Alderman Miller is not here. Alderman Rainey, thank you.
The item having to do with the 30-day grace period for the wheel tax payment, there was another provision that we did not discuss tonight, but have made a referral for staff to bring back an amendment to this ordinance that would include, as we did this year, extending the payment date to December 31 for wheel tax. That's going to be codified.
Okay.
And we're getting a memo on that.
Thank you. Alderman Tindem?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item P4, Ordinance 154015, Zoning Ordinance Text Amendment, addition of rentals to the automobile and recreational vehicle sales use. Both the Plan Commission and staff recommend adoption of the zoning ordinance text amendment to classify automobile and/or truck rental uses under automobile and recreational vehicle sales use instead of retail service establishments by updating the term automobile to motor vehicle and adding rental to the use name. The proposed amendment will ensure that motor vehicle and truck rental uses are accounted for within the zoning code and allowed in the same manner as motor vehicle and recreational vehicle sales uses. This ordinance was amended at the Planning and Development Committee this evening to limit the ordinance to a industrial or I zone area district. So in the actual amendment as it was originally proposed this evening, the commercial or C class zoning has been eliminated. This is for introduction.
Staff is going to bring us along.
Yes, staff will update us for the next meeting.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. City Clerk, do you want to call the roll?
Alderman Rainey.
Aye.
Alderman Fisk. Alderman Braithwaite. Alderman Nguyen. Alderman Wilson. Alderman Holmes.
Aye.
Alderman Tindem. 7-0.
7-0, the motion passes. Thank you, Alderman Tindem. And Alderman Braithwaite, I think you have absolutely nothing that's standing out on this that's unresolved. I believe we are amazingly.
I can't believe it.
Oh, no, I'm sure I'm missing something. Where I'd call it the
We have a
ward.
budget update we could give you for the first.
Thank you. I'm calling on Alderman Rainey quickly before the city manager does something.
Well, to all those candidates vying for the position of 7th Ward Alderman, this has never happened before.
That's right. That's
So
a
if
terrible thing. They'll all think it's easy.
If your spouses are watching, this is not routine. So, I wanted to comment on Martin Luther King Day. This past week, I had the privilege and the honor of going to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, Tennessee, that is added onto the Lorraine Motel where Dr. King was murdered. And I have never, in all my travels, all over the world almost, never been to any presentation that was so intense and so perfectly done that when you came out, you felt like you lived it. It was the most brilliant presentation of history as it really was. And I mean, just beautifully done. It was just overwhelming. And I want to say about Martin Luther King Day, there are so many events going on the 18th that, you know, everybody can't be at every one. And I wanted to mention that I will be, St. Francis Hospital has one every year that is really, really very, very nice. And Tony Preckwinkle will be giving the address. So that's where I'm going to be. It's in my ward, and I want to stay there. So.
Thank you very much. Alderman Fisk.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Braithwaite.
No report, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Alderman Nguyen. Thank you. 7th Ward candidates, this is not normal. Alderman Wilson. Alderman Holmes.
I just want to say Alderman Rainey is absolutely right about Martin Luther King Day. And if you need something to do in the evening, there is a panel discussion at Second Baptist Church at 1717 Benson at 7 o'clock on the 18th, in addition to the YOU presentation at 1 o'clock at the high school on the 18th.
Thank you. Alderman Tindem.
No report, thank you.
Thank you very much. Would anyone like, Alderman Rainey.
There was something else very unusual tonight. One citizen comment.
Yes, that never happens either. New beginning.
Well, I have good news about the 7th Ward. Everyone wants to be a candidate, so that's absolutely terrific. All right, anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it.